Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be exploring a little bit of hip mobility and hip stability in various forms of lunge. Well, actually more lunge and warrior two, which is kind of a side lunge. So let's get started. You're going to need a couple of blocks, and I have my mat pulled right up to the wall. Now I have it in the corner, but you don't need to have it in the corner. You just need the short edge of your mat to be against the wall. We're going to use our props to bring more attention and awareness to what's going on between our leg bone and our pelvis in the hip socket. So let's get started. So the thing is, we want to have mobility of the leg bone in the pelvis, but we also need stability. So as I'm moving this guy around, this guy I want to have stable, because if he's not stable, then I'm going to be doing a lot of this, right? And I know a transition that I often teach is from a lunge to a warrior two, and that requires some stability and some mobility through the whole leg, really, and into the pelvis. And I often find people have some problems with that. So as we go to transition, I'll see the knee fall in, or just things happen. So we're going to play around with a couple of things around hip stability, external rotation, and actually that transition itself. So grab a block and let's go. The first thing I'm going to start with is first, why don't you just start and feel yourself in standing. You don't have to hold your block. And just kind of feel the center of your heel and the ball of your foot, and the big toe side and the baby toe side, and let your toes be easy. Just feel how you feel. And maybe take your legs wide. And let's just try a little warrior two, just to see how it feels right now. So let's take one leg and rotate it so the leg points to the side. And we're going to sink into our warrior two, essentially a side lunge. Come back up, rotate that leg back. Let's take the other side, rotating that leg bone at the hip. Just noticing how that feels. Nice, easy breath. Okay, now you're going to take your block. We're going to come up nice and close to the wall. I'm going to stand on the foot that's farthest from the wall. I'm going to let the other leg bend. You can bring it forward, but I'm going to let it just stay sort of next to the other leg, so there's not so much work going on in the front of the hip. We're going to take that block and it's going to come to the outside of the thigh. So it's not right at the hip, it's not down at the knee, it's underneath where the leg bone comes into the pelvis. And I'm just going to take the weight off that inside leg and hold the block with my inside leg. So I'm not doing this, I'm not leaning against the wall. So you can see now my leg's not straight anymore. I'm standing, my weight is in this standing supporting leg, and I'm just gently holding the block into the wall. And just breathe here. You can rest your toes on the ground if you like, you can keep them up, whatever feels good. And just notice what you notice. You might find some stuff going on in the supporting leg as well. And then let that go. Just come back to stand for a moment and notice anything that you notice. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So I'm going to turn sideways, that's why I have the corner. And again, I'm just going to stand up nice and tall, bring that block in between my leg and the wall, nice and high on the thigh, but not at the pelvis. And as I stand on that supporting leg, the inside leg, the toes can be on the ground. You don't have to hold it up, but you're just gently holding the block against the wall, hugging the block. So we're not trying to squish the block, just nice and easy as you breathe. A couple more breaths. Feel the foot that's on the floor, the supporting foot. Feel those 3 points. Easy toes, easy breath. And then we're going to let that go. Whoops. And come back to stand for a moment. Notice what you notice. So that was some work with the abductors, right? Which also help a little bit with the external rotation. We're gonna do something similar now, but in Warrior Two. So taking your legs wide and coming right close to the wall. I'm leaning against the wall right now, but now I'm not. Standing enough away so that when you rotate the one leg at the hip into that Warrior Two, you can take your block and bring it again to the outside of that thigh. And again, it's not at the knee and it's not at the hip, it's in the meat of that thigh. And you can have it farther, or I have mine at the flattest, narrowest side, but you can also take it farther away if that makes more sense for you. And you're just gonna, again, hold that block with your leg. Now, my knee is pointing over my foot, so don't worry too much about the turn out of your foot. Stay where you are. I'm just gonna show you something. What I often see is people come into Warrior Two and they feel like their knee is coming in. They feel like their knee is coming in, and so they move their foot wider, which just makes more pressure on the knee. So we're trying to align the knee and the foot, even if that means turning it in a little bit, and we're using the outer thigh. Now, I neglected to mention that if you want to, while you're here, you could do maybe a little bit of side bending. Sometimes there's stuff in our hips that is responding to stuff above our hips, between our pelvis and our ribs. So not bad. While we're standing here working our legs, work our upper body, and then let's pause and take the block away and come back to stand. And notice what you notice. I feel like my right leg is more stable and more connected. Let's go to the other side. So same thing, standing slightly away from the wall, but really close, so that when you rotate that leg bone, you can bring that block between the thigh and the wall, and you're just gonna hold it there. And breathe, and feel your feet, both feet, toes are easy. You can take the arms out if you like. It's funny, sometimes if you watch yourself on camera, you can see when you're not being quite even. We'll find that little side to side. You can use your arms, you don't have to use your arms. You can keep the arms here, you can let them be there. The other nice thing about being close to the wall is you really notice when you're moving forward and back, as opposed to side. All right, pause. Just take the block away. Whoop. Unstick your foot from your mat. Come back to stand. And take a pause. So we've been working a lot now with the leg that's doing the rotation. I want to work with the other leg for a moment. So I'm going to take my block. I'm going to place it down against the wall. Now, you don't have to use your block for this. I just find that my baseboard is oddly shaped and it's not comfortable for my foot. We're going to take the foot against the block. Okay, so again, the block's just there to give me a little bit of cushion and a flatter surface than the wall. Now I'm going to rotate the leg that's farthest from the wall, and I'm going to find Warrior Two. So you can imagine you have the block here. You can put your hand here, or heck, actually, what you could do is even move that block back, and you could do both of these things at the same time, but you don't have to. You could just focus on that foot that's connecting to the block, connecting to the wall. So feeling the 3 points of that foot, just to sort of counteract that this leg is still active. We're not actively trying to squish the block. We're not trying to lift the leg. We're just feeling that that foot is connected to the ground and the outside edge is connected to the block. And we're breathing. And if you want to come into that side bend again, you can, right? You can come into cactus and just pause. Just play around a little bit, yeah? And then we're gonna come out of that. Sometimes it's when we're playing and experimenting that we find those little ahas that can really open up our practice. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So imaginary wall for me, so I'm not throwing my back to you, but so same deal, outer edge of the foot against the block. So imagine my wall is here, yeah? Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll turn and come sideways here so you can see from the side view when I rotate my leg bone, and then I come into that lunge. And again, if I wanted to, I could have that block between me and my imaginary wall, or just my hand there. And I'm really feeling that foot against the block, against the wall. Again, you want to do some side bends or just stand here and breathe. Hold your block, hug your block, whatever you want to do. And then let's straighten up and come back. Okay, so that was quite a bit in Warrior 2. I want to work a little bit in Lunge, and then we're going to do the Lunge to Warrior 2 transition. So I'm going to take my block again against the wall. I'll show you sideways and then I'll show you the other way as well. And this time, I'm going to kind of find my distance here. I want to have my foot on that block. Now you could go right against the wall, and you can go as high as you like. And if you wanted to put the block higher and really bring your foot up high, you could. I'm going to bring mine a little bit lower. And I'm going to find the right length for my lunge here. So you find the right length for yours. I want to feel my front foot connecting to the ground, all 3 points. My back foot, I want to feel the ball of the foot on the ground. And I'm going to just gently push my heel into the block. Not, again, to kind of squish the block, not to move my weight backwards, but just to feel like that leg is slightly moving. It's connected, yeah? It's not just hanging out there. As I think about being really steady and grounded in that front leg. You're going to breathe here. And if you want to do a little side bend or anything here, or a little twist maybe, you could do that. It's great when you have the wall. Yeah, you can let your hand rest. And keeping that back leg connected, we'll come back, step forward. And then we'll do the same thing with the other leg. I'm going to turn and face you this time. So foot, I'm finding my right, what's the right distance for me? Feeling that front leg really nice and solid. This is like a half squat, right? And that back leg now, the back ball of the foot is connected on the big toe side and the baby toe side. And my heel is connecting through the block. But again, I'm not pushing. Can you see how when I push, my pelvis starts to move back? So I'm keeping my pelvis nice and centered and just feeling a little extension through the back of this buttock and leg. And then we're going to step forward. Okay, here we go. Lunge to Warrior 2. So we're going to face the wall. We're going to take the block this time in front of our knee, or maybe the knee and just below. Okay, so not way down here, but here. And you can have it this way or the longer way, depending on how long your foot is. You might find it more comfortable this way. It might give you a little more space. It's just there's less surface area to have against your leg. So let's see, I'm going to take it to my inside leg first. So I'm setting up so that my leg is mostly straight as that knee is holding the block. I can have my hands now on the wall for a little bit of balance as I step back into my lunge with the other leg. Okay, so I'm again holding the block. I feel my knee gently holding the block, not trying to squish the block. Can you see the difference? Squish, just hold. Now from here, you have your hands on the wall. If you want to take a little back bend, you can. Right, or again, a little twist. If you wanted to bring the hands Keep one hand on the wall, maybe the other hand comes behind, and have a little twist. Come back. Okay, this leg is gonna stay nice and stable. It's holding the block. We're gonna take our pelvis and we're gonna rotate it sideways. This leg is gonna come with. So here we go. You can keep a hand on the wall if you like. So you see I'm rotating the pelvis. This leg is staying stable. And I land in my warrior two. My hand can't quite extend all the way, close. If your arms are longer, you might have your arm bent against the wall, which is just fine. And then again here, if you wanted to do your side bend, hello wall. Nice. Or maybe coming into your reverse warrior and keeping the fingers on the wall, or not. Yeah. We're gonna come back. So same thing, this leg is staying nice and solid. We're moving our pelvis around this leg bone that's bent. Now this leg bone is coming with, it's gonna change a little bit as well, but so here we go. We're gonna lift the heel that's out in the middle of the room, and we're gonna rotate the pelvis back around. Nice, and then we're gonna step the back foot up to the front and remove the block. And again, just notice how you feel. Now we'll repeat on the other side. So setting up, so the knee is right there. So you want to make sure you're not really far away and bringing your knee too far forward, or if you're too close, you won't be able to really feel. You're going to be kind of limited in how well you can step back. So a little bit of an art to placing your block. There we go. Standing nice and tall, stepping back. Once again, feeling the 3 points on your front foot, the wall foot, feeling the 2 points on the back foot, and imagining that your foot is still gently pressing into that block. Knee pressing into this block, heel pressing into imaginary block. I suppose actually we could have put the other block back there. We could have used that too. Let's try that just for fun. Whoopsie. Okay. One shouldn't ad lib in the middle. Okay, here we go. So this back block isn't as anchored as it was before. Here we go. Oh, twist if you'd like. Yeah, hips stay nice and stable as we're holding on to that block. Now we're gonna lift that back heel. This leg stays stable. The pelvis is gonna rotate. And we're gonna land, and I guess I do have my back to you now, but oh well. Here we go. Warrior two, and again, if you want to come into a little reverse warrior or a little side bend, you can do that. And then we'll lift that back heel. Again, this leg stays where it is as we rotate our pelvis back to the center. You can always have your hand on the wall as you do that. And then we're gonna step the back foot up, and if you're like, I don't know how that works, you can take the block away to step up. And then just take a moment to stand. Notice what you notice. Maybe take the feet wide. Don't worry about the blocks. I'm gonna kick them out of the way. And let's once again find a little warrior two. Your warrior two. And come on back. And we'll rotate the leg bone. So now we're rotating the leg bone in the pelvis instead of the pelvis on the leg bone, but hey, same joints, right? Same two pieces involved. And we'll step back together. And just notice how you feel. So I hope you enjoyed that little exploration of blocks and wall with our lunges and warrior two. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.